Today, I'll tell you guys whether the MF3RS2 is worth it. There are lots of opinions out there, and in this video, I'll try to squeeze everything into one video. So, is the MF3RS2 worth it? Be sure to watch the whole video, because this video will cover a lot of stuff, including the MF3RS2M and opinions of fellow YouTubers. Firstly, let's talk about out-of-the-box performance. The MF3RS2 felt very blocky, stiff, and chunky when turning fast out of the box, pretty much because of the tight tensions that came with it. But when turning slower, the MF3RS2 is the absolute opposite, because then it feels very sluggish and slow. The sluggishness when turning slow helps keep this cube very stable. It is one of the more stable cubes in the market, without magnets. Corner cutting on this cube is very mediocre out of the box. It corner cuts line to line and almost doesn't do any reverse corner cutting. But most of the problems with the out of the box performance are easily solved by loosening the tensions. But keep in mind, the center caps on this cube are horrific to open up. The MF3RS2's mechanism is quite different to the original MF3RS. Unfortunately, I don't have an MF3RS or any other cube in this comparison, so let's look at some pictures instead. As you can see, the edge pieces are much simpler. They got rid of the little grooves on one side, but added a much deeper groove on the other side. The MF3RS2's corner pieces and center pieces resemble the GTS2 much more than its predecessor, the MF3RS. After breaking the cube in, the cube feels very smooth, and when turning fast, it has this clicky and snappy type of feel, which complements the stability of this puzzle very well. At least when I use this cube, I hardly experience any lockups. The MF3RS2 just makes solving a 3x3 very smooth because of how the stability and smoothness join up to create an amazing experience. Corner cutting after setting up the cube turns from line to line all the way up to 45 degrees and almost line to line in reverse. The MF3RS2 retails for just about $8, and for that price, the pieces do not feel cheap at all, although some other cubers claim it does feel cheap. But that's not it. The MF3RS2 isn't a type of cube that gobbles up lube. I had to just lubricate this puzzle 1 per 2 months or even less. It just doesn't run out of lube. Sadly, I do not know how other lubes affect the cube, but I know for a fact that the MF3RS2 doesn't really need lube. Good tensions already refine the experience pretty well. But now, it's time to hear opinions from other fellow YouTubers.
How's it going, everyone? Damien here. And my opinion of the MF3RS2 is that it is a fantastic puzzle. People call it a budget cube to somehow insinuate that it's not as good as, say, a GTS2 or a GAN or a Valk, but it's my personal opinion that this cube is better than all three of those. And while performance is fairly equal among all the top 3x3s nowadays, with every cube cutting well over 45 degrees forward, line to line reverse, with very few locks and zero pops, the thing that sets this cube apart to me is the feel. Now, I used to main an Along version 1 because I loved the feel of the plastic. It was super soft and plush, and this cube reminds me of that. It's just honestly a pleasure to solve. And if I didn't already know the prices, if you handed me this puzzle and a GTS2, I would say that the GTS2 feels like the budget version of the MF3RS2. Now in these solves, I'm using the M version from Cubicle Labs, but that's just a preference I have. It's definitely not needed to get the advantages of this amazing puzzle. But thanks for having me on this collaboration. I'm excited to hear what everyone else has to say, so let's get to it.
Hey everyone, here are my thoughts on the MF3RS2. Out of the box, this cube is very sluggish, and I wasn't a big fan of that. I definitely overlooked this cube for a while because of those initial impressions, and it wasn't until I finally set it up that I realized how good of a cube it was. I currently use speedcube.com.au's custom line version of the puzzle, and it's an amazing main. Two of the biggest initial problems that I had with this cube were its overflexibility and its slow turning. The cube was super uncontrollable for me because the layers would flex around when I didn't want them to. Setting up this cube and adding magnets fixed both of these problems and made it a really great cube. If you like the GTS2, then this is a cheaper and softer version for a third of the price. Overall, I really love this puzzle, and for $8, it's a great buy.
Hey guys, I'm a really big fan of the MF3RS2. I used it as my main for 3x3 for 2 months, and I currently use it for 3x3 blindfolded. In February, I used it to get my official PB single of 9.18 seconds. This cube will always hold a special place in my heart, as it's the cube I got my first sub-10 average of 5 on. The MF3RS2 has a very soft, smooth feel, which makes it very pleasant to solve on. It's on the slower side of cubes, however this can vary based on setup. Performance in solves is great. If you find the perfect tensions, the cube will have great corner cutting and no lookups. M-slices are great on the cube, which really helps with LSE towards the end of solves. The price is shocking. For under $9 you'll get a speed cube which I think is on the level of the GTS2 and SM. I would recommend the MF3RS2 to anyone.
The MF3RS2 is a very nice cube, however, it's probably not a good idea to get it because it is very fast and can be rather unstable and a bit wobbly in places. I recommend that you lube it with Lubrical 1 if you do have it, and it is a very good cube for spamming TPS on re-gripless algorithms, but not so good in other cases. I can just about get my average. I got a 12.8 average of 5 in this video, and yeah, if you are looking for a budget cube, then I recommend you get the Yushin Little Magic because it's cheaper and it's probably better than that. But if you're looking for a cube that feels really, really strange, then get the MF3RS2 and put magnets on top of all the screws, and it feels really loose, like a really, really loose cube, but doesn't have the problems with being really loose you'd expect, because it's not actually any looser. It doesn't pop, and it simply doesn't lock up. And the MF3RS2 is one of the only cubes you can do this with. And yeah.
At this price point, the MF3RS2 is probably one of the best, rivaling against the Yushin Little Magic. Although these two cubes are very good, they both have their pros and cons. The MF3RS2 is very stable, but it isn't fast. However, the Yushin Little Magic is the opposite. It is very fast, but in the same time very unstable. The cons these two cubes have can easily be solved by simply adding lightweight lube for speed or adding magnets for stability. Overall, both of these cubes have the potential to compete against a flagship like the ARSM. Even though I'm sort of praising the MF3RS2 stability, it isn't perfect. When turning fast, the stability just doesn't work out very well. It locks up quite a lot when it turns fast, and when the tensions are a little too loose, you will get this very weird, rough feeling that reminds me of the Guanlong. This cube can definitely use some magnets, although it is very stable already. And that is why Cubicle Labs has made an MF3RS2M. That cube will set you back at around $27, which is very cheap for a Cubicle Labs magnetic puzzle, as other 3x3s can cost up to a staggering $60–70. The feel of this magnetic puzzle is the best part. It has a smooth, silky feel, and turning this puzzle just makes solving 3x3s very enjoyable. Unlike any other major magnetic cubes, this particular one doesn't really need any setting up at all. The out-of-the-box performance is good for most people, although some other people think that the cube came with some very tight tensions, just like the MF3RS2 non-magnetic version. But there are more magnetic versions of this puzzle, like the magnetic versions from Speedcube Shop, for example. But let me not bore you with all those magnetic versions of the MF3RS2. So let's just wrap up the specs instead. The MF3RS2 comes in at a size of 56mm on each side and weighs around 81 grams. The base version costs around $8, the Cubicle Labs version around $30, and the Speedcube Shop versions around $20. All that information still leaves us with a question. Is the MF3RS2 worth it? My opinion is yes, for sure. It is a magnetic puzzle that packs up a lot of quality for such a low tier budget cube, and is arguably one of the best budget cubes to this date. Maybe the MF3RS3 will beat the MF3RS2, or maybe another budget cube will destroy champions of the present, but for now, my opinion stays put. This video was very fun to make. I enjoyed collaborating with some other YouTubers. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Bye guys, have a nice day.